The Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service initiate simultaneous intelligence-led joint operations across 3 regions targeting individuals involved in recent violent attacks against NIMOS officials. Boost for the Big Push Road Construction Initiative as President John Dramani Mahama reveals a 30.8 billion Ghana cedi in the 2026 budget for road projects. And thousands of eligible applicants have thronged various recruitment centers across the 16 regions seeking to secure recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces. We'll bring you an update. There's many more coming up shortly. So our first story, the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service initiated simultaneous intelligence-led joint operations on Wednesday dawn across the Ashanti region, Volta and Ahafo regions, targeting individuals involved in recent violent attacks against anti-illegal mining teams and law enforcement officials. The coordinator SUPS announced in a press release from the Department of Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces apprehended those responsible for assaults on members of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, Police Environmental Protection Agency officials and journalists. Now, targeted communities include Dadrin Arena in the Ashanti region, Ehi in the Volta region, and Fidiem Kenyase, Gwaso and Mahene in the Ahafo region. The Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service stated that any individual or group attempting to obstruct the ongoing anti-Galamsey operations will face the full force of the law, underscoring their commitment to tackling illegal mining activities. The 2 security agencies reassure local inhabitants, stating that adequate measures have been put in place to ensure the safety and security of well-meaning inhabitants in the affected areas, urging residents to remain calm and proceed with their regular duties. And retired Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sogbojo has praised the committee that investigated the Augustus military helicopter crash in Ghana, describing the work as comprehensive. The committee's report, presented by Captain Paul Fojo on Tuesday, November 11th, found that the Haben Z-9EH military helicopter crashed after encountering a severe downdraft that caused a sudden loss of altitude and lift while flying over high terrain. Reacting to the committee's findings, which ruled out mechanical and human error, Wing Commander Sogbojo said the reports vindicated the Ghana Air Force and the pilot involved in the tragedy. He spoke to Fuando in an earlier interview.
Sudden change in altitude is like you're driving to a buoy, you start climbing the hill, don't you? It's changing every day. That's what it means, altitude. The plane was changing its height either to lower or higher. Mm-hmm. This pilot took off from Accra and had weather report and flew all the way about 6 minutes to landing. And he ran to a weather downdraft who pushed the aircraft down. There's nothing you could do. There's no magic. And I don't think the pilots wanted to die. The weather conditions caused this accident, not pilot of human error. The Ghana Air Force is much, much older than the new modern gadget which has come. Okay? When you're going to buy an airplane, you must know what you're going to use the airplane for. And then the required, apart from the basic instruments you have, if you think you're going to use the airplane for something different, you're required for it to be fitted and you pay extra for it. It's like going to buy a car, and apart from fuel, odometer, you want some other gadget. It's not free, isn't it? You
That's
request
right.
for it, and they will fit it into you. There's no aircraft made specially for the military aviation and civil aviation. They are all basically the same, except what you want in each one. But I'm saying that this flight simulator must have come in the last 10, 12 years. Some of us were trained in the 60s, some in the 50s. And they've still been flying. You know, so this gadget is talking of would have enhanced flying. But it doesn't mean that without them, you cannot safely fly. Once you are qualified pilot, you can fly them without going to simulator.
Well, away from that, 6 more people have been reported dead following a stampede at the Elwak Sports Stadium in Accra on Wednesday, November 12, 2025, during an ongoing military recruitment exercise, bringing the total fatalities to 12 after the military had earlier confirmed 6 deaths. Reports indicate that several others are currently in the ICU receiving treatment. According to the military, the stampede occurred after thousands of young Ghanaians thronged the stadium in a desperate bid to secure enlistment into the Ghana Armed Forces. The large crowd, coupled with intense jostling at the entry points, led to chaos, resulting in multiple injuries and fatalities. The bodies of the 12 deceased have been deposited at the 37 military hospital morgue, while several others are receiving emergency treatment at the facility's emergency ward. Security personnel have cordoned off the area, with the military blocking all major roads leading to Elwak Stadium to maintain order and facilitate rescue operations. The tragic incident occurred amid an extended recruitment period announced by the Ghana Armed Forces. The exercise, which was initially scheduled to close on October 31, 2025, had been extended by 1 week following technical challenges on the recruitment portal. We'll bring you more on this particular story. And to some other news, President John Dramani Mahama has revealed that Finance Minister Kasala Toforson has earmarked 30.8 billion Ghana cedis in the 2026 budget for the government's Big Push road construction initiative, more than double this year's allocation of the 13.8 billion Ghana cedis. The move forms part of government strategy to accelerate infrastructure development, improve regional connectivity, and position Ghana as a key trade hub in West Africa. Speaking at the WA Big Push project sword cutting ceremony on Tuesday, November 11, President Mahama underscored the project's importance as a cornerstone of Ghana's long-term national development agenda.
This year, the Finance Minister put 13.8 billion cedis into the Big Push road construction. Next year, he is reserving 30.8 billion cedis for the Big Push road construction. And so payment is not going to be the problem. If a contractor is not working, it's not because he's not been paid. The Minister of Finance has guaranteed that once you raise your certificate and it is certified and inspected, and you've done the road to specification, you receive your payment immediately. And so to our chiefs and our communities, I urge you to support the work, protect the materials, cooperate with the engineers, because these roads belong to you. They are being built for you, your children, and your great-grandchildren. The Big Push is not an isolated initiative. It is part of a grand national network. And so as we commission the Wa to Muhang Navrongo Road and also the Wa Laura Hamile Road, I wish to announce to you that just last week I cut the sword for the Winchi Bamboy Sola Wa Road. So this Big Push, as I said, is not isolated. They are interconnected to every other part of the country. Once completed, this particular stretch will link the north to the Middle Belt and beyond to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and will anchor Ghana's position as a gateway for regional logistics and trade. This is how we build economic sovereignty, by strengthening domestic infrastructure and regional competitiveness. The Big Push is more than a developmental program. It is a philosophy of governance rooted in inclusion, fairness, and shared prosperity. Across Ghana, new roads, new bridges, hospitals, schools, and water system are being put in place again under this government. We're investing in people because people are the true wealth of our nation. Let us therefore unite government, contractors, traditional leaders, and communities to make this transformation a success. Let the big push drive the engines of growth, justice, and national unity, and let us prove once again that when the MDC says we'll build Ghana, we do not just speak, but we act.
Now let's take you back to the military recruitment happening at Elwak, where 12 people have been confirmed dead. And my colleague Vanessa Edutom spoke with the regional minister. He is at the grounds. Let's take a listen.
Thousands of eager Ghanaian youth thronged the Elwak Sports Stadium as early as dawn for their documentation process of the Ghana Armed Forces ongoing recruitment exercise. Now, the massive turnout created a chaotic scene with a mini stampede recorded as anxious applicants pushed to gain entry. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Obeniwa Akwele Oklo, who visited the ground, described the situation as unfortunate, urging applicants to adhere to their scheduled time.
I mean, the exercise will start from today and end on Friday, and so others has been asked to come tomorrow, others on Wednesday, others Thursday, Friday, but all of them want to be here and they cannot attend to everybody here, and so we are here to talk to them. Today they want to attend to the army people, tomorrow they will attend to the Navy, and so we want to encourage them to go back and come tomorrow morning so that they will be attended to. So as a regional minister, I have to be here and make sure that everybody is attended to. Security-wise, I have to make sure that everybody is safe. I mean, the military is here, the police is here to make sure that everything is in order. And so, like I said, I'm here to protect everybody as far as I'm concerned as a mother of the region. And also find out their grievances. I've asked a couple of people their problems and they said they were here since yesterday. They are here to be attended to. So I've asked the officers to make sure that those who came yesterday, at least they should attend to them. Whilst those who came this morning, they can go back home and come back tomorrow to be attended.
Please, but is there a way that the situation could have better been managed such that all of them wouldn't have come here today?
In fact, they were told, I mean, there was news all over. I mean, they told them what to do. And when you fill the form, before they even sent them the messages, all the messages they received, when you even check the message, others were told that report on Friday, but they came today. Others were told to come on Thursday, but they are here today. You see, and so that is some of the challenges we are facing. But we are hoping to talk to them so that they can go and come back tomorrow morning.
So Vanessa Edutom also spoke to some participants at the military grounds at Elwak.
I came here around 4:30 to 5. So we waited for them to, open the gates around 6:30 thereabout. So we came inside, they allowed us to sit, and after that they told us we should go to the park. And the process started. But since the place are overcrowded, I can't be there. And they are, stampede to went on at the gate. So I just need to stay away before, the next process starts.
Looking at the crowd, are you demoralized?
Oh yeah, sure. Because looking at this crowd, you can't be in this crowd because, first of all, I can't breathe. So I just need to stay back. And perhaps if it gets to like 3 o'clock thereabout, and I ain't be like selected to go to the screening process, I'll just go back to the house.
If you go back to the house, will you come back?
No, I won't come back again because perhaps there are more people over here too. I can't be coming here, then I'll be stressing myself. No, I can't do that because I've been stressed up. Yesterday I went to work, I never slept. I came here early this morning. And what is going on over here? It's not good, so I just need to go back to the house.
I came around 4:30 a.m. and the process, it's been fair and also not fair. In some cases, you know, you'll be in front of somebody, then you'll later be at the back. Yeah, so that's how the process is.
What does that mean?
Like, I mean, the selection. You can be in front, and later you'll be at the back. That's when they are selecting. And there's also chaos, like giddy, giddy, giddy. Yeah, of course, yeah.
I've been here at dawn. I got here exactly around 4 a.m.
The message you received, what did the message say?
Actually, the message had a date on it. That's 12th of this month. That's today. And the reporting time is 6:30 a.m. Yeah, so I got here before 6:30. That's 4 a.m.
So when you came, what has the process been like? What did they tell you? And what are you seeing? What you are seeing, is it encouraging?
Actually, what I'm seeing is not encouraging at all. I'm very sure this is not our first enlistment. This is not a very first enlistment that Ghana has taken.
So ahead of the Nkokon Kitinkiti launch today, some 60,000 households will be beneficiaries of 3 million poultry beds under government's Nkokon Kitinkiti program, which officially kicks off. Ahead of the launch, Minister for Food and Agriculture Eric Opoku gave a detailed plan for sustainability of the project. Take a listen.
In Ghana, to the extent that in the 2024 budget presented by the previous government, they stated black and white in the budget that in 2022, total poultry consumption in Ghana was estimated at 324,000 tons. 324,000 tons, out of which Ghana was able to produce just 15,000 tons. The 15,000 constituted just 4.6%. You know, it is incubus, to say the least. It is incubus for a country like Ghana to produce just 15,000, 4.6% of our total poultry consumption, and spend almost $400 million every year to import poultry products to support local production. Something that can be done here. Now, to close this gap, His Excellency is of the view that we should have a 3-layer approach. One is the Nkokon Kitinkiti we are talking about. The Nkokon Kitinkiti is simply backyard poultry project. We want individual households to be interested in the poultry business. So government is stimulating interest by doing 2 things. The first one is the campaign for people to be part of the project. And you could see that even without government direct intervention, you have seen individuals on their own going into that space. We have seen footballers and former footballers. We have seen politicians from both sides, MPP, NDC, former MP, former ministers, journalists. I mean, everybody participating. Then government says that, look, we are now buying the day-old chicks, brood them for a period, take them through the vaccination period in order to reduce the mortality rate. Then we distribute to individual households. We are targeting about 60,000 households. They will be given the pullets and the cockers, the croilers, and then we'll support them with the feed so that within 3-4 months, they can make them available at the market for sale. Now, how do we sustain it? As part of the project, when you make such huge intervention, you should anticipate one thing. The market will soon be flooded with birds. And people will complain, like we are seeing today, that we have produced the birds, we are not getting the market. So tactically, we are also setting up a modern poultry processing center.
And the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, has denied the possibilities of the influx of eggs from the Ivory Coast to be the cause of the current glut in Ghana. Speaking exclusively to Metro TV, he noted that it does not make business sense for a farmer to enter a market like Ghana, considering how the glut has dragged on for months. Rather, he has attributed it to an increase in layer bird production since the announcement and pilot of the flagship Nkukwo Nketenkete program. There's more in this.
Since June 2025, local poultry farmers have faced an unprecedented egg glut on the market. The farmers say the perennial situation would usually have cleared by September before the last quarter of the year. This situation has, however, dragged beyond normal, causing fear it could extend beyond the Yuletide, considering the quantum of excess eggs. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, however, announced a directive by the President for absorption of the excess eggs by the Ministry of Education to serve school children in the school feeding program.
And thanks to God that His Excellency the President has directed that the Ministry of Education steps into the market to support the school feeding program. I think that's a good one. We are not wasting it. We are improving the quality of the food that is served to our children.
Beyond this intervention, rumors are rife that a large-scale poultry farmer in La Côte d'Ivoire is responsible for flooding the Ghanaian market with eggs. This, the sector minister has vehemently denied.
I don't know the economic situation in La Côte d'Ivoire that will push them to bring their eggs in Ghana here. And I haven't heard that. I haven't heard about that. Because prices of eggs are falling so low in Ghana that people will not be interested in bringing their eggs here. If local farmers are complaining that prices are collapsing, they are losing their investment, how would you think, rationally, that any investor elsewhere will want to take advantage of an economy like this, of a situation like this? That is not the case. But these are some of the stories that people try to put into the space just to distort the records being made by this government.
He rather attributed the glut to the success of the pilot of the flagship poultry initiative codenamed Nkukwo Nketenkete. He has, however, called for private sector participation to ensure the success and sustainability of the Nkukwo Nketenkete program.
Into some business news, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesila Tuforsen, is set to present the 2026 budget to Parliament on Thursday, November 13, 2025, with heightened anticipation as reactions from both the majority and minority sides reveal mixed expectation ahead of the presentation. Our parliamentary correspondent, Dominic Ansapra, picked some reactions from members of Parliament ahead of the big day.
Ending 2025 should technically come to the end of the budget in December, but the minister responsible for finance, in line with the dictates of the Constitution, is to present a state of the nation finances, the annual budget statement. The minister is expected, my expectation, and of course the expectation of every Ghanaian, is that the minister will account for the resources that were given by way of the tax revenue, oil revenue, and all import duties and what have you that accrue to the good people of Ghana, which the president is holding in trust for the people of Ghana. He has to account for how much resources came in 2025 and how these resources were used for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. The minister would also have to account the movement, the macroeconomic development in the country. The bottom line is that the Ghanaian economy has undergone some changes, good or bad. The good people of Ghana would have to be updated on this development.
The 2025 budget that the Minister for Finance, Tuforsen, presented was not a full year budget for President Mahama. It was an April to December budget. You remember we passed the the expenditure in lieu of appropriation, sometimes in January. So this is the first full budget. But even with the 9-month budget that the president have had, we've implemented, you could see all the macroeconomic indicators are showing upward trajectory, leading to Fitch and S&P and other rating agencies upgrading our economy and then our currency. We've had some positive impacts. Inflation has gone down consistently. We have the cedis being stable against the major currencies. Generally, price of goods and services on the market also coming down. So it's not the end. I'm hoping that this particular budget will consolidate the gains that we have made so that it will trickle down to the ordinary Ghanaian. We've had a 9% increment. You know, that's the first step in the budget process. The first step is to do the salary negotiations, and then eventually you have the document, the fiscal document for the as a sole document for the budget to be presented. So I'm expecting one, robust microeconomic indicators. I'm expecting continuation of the infrastructure development that the president has started.
We are not yet promising Ghanaians heaven and earth, but we can assure Ghanaians that we are committed to building a country that will be good for all of us. Politicians, now we know Ghanaians don't even trust us again, all of us. But I can tell Ghanaians that we are not the same. It's not the same. We are not the same. And we are committed to building a country. And I've not seen the budget yet, but I know per what is happening and the monitoring finance minister, I know definitely the budget will be about revenue. It will be about projected source of revenues, which we know definitely taxes will be part. We know grants will be part. We know loans will be part. So definitely I know a major part of it will be that way. Whether the question is whether we're going for more loans or we are going to manage our loans very well. That is another question that we have to wait for the finance minister to come and answer. And when we talk about revenue source.
Well, that's it for the news update on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Harriet Adi. Do stay tuned after this break.
Oh, Jose, and I media Samasio. Cannon Pano, Nasana, Mushiana, Wademi. A drain I didn't quano. Kingdom Garlic Bitters. No, more benefiting. Me benefiting wine. Also, what told dear? Abrewa, the smile, our brente, Mishuve. One antique crana wabre. No Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and any capsules. Nanya, what dear Brebia. Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and the capsules. Assembly,
a devil when I'm when I say, send your name, wife, company, one personal. Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules, and tea. Say, see, I'm password.
Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules. Emeni Chienya Sumdiebefi, Abrebia. Obebia o de pua hauno. Edroba kupa wihiane tremendous capsules. Tremendous capsules. Esiesie uma uye obesima. Edro yi ubenya bi obebia eton robia. Kingdom Herbal. No challenger.
His uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be later?
Of course.
You're the luckiest. Kofi from Toja be luckiest. From Natepia, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwamio!
Send your God up boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey.
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me way.
Yeah,
man.
Easy cry. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompt. Yes, and then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, maybe release a motivational bomb. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
This Wednesday on Titans and Trailblazers.
So what is the role of training in embedding customer-centric cultures?
That number one will be lack of respect. I mean, as Ghanaian, respect is a core value that we uphold, empathy for people, and because we are in a space where we are no longer empathetic, as an organization, it should be led by senior management. As a country, it should be led by the government.
Indeed.
So that everybody see that, okay, customer service is not just about smiling, it's not just about having positive energy, it's about work, doing the work, learning, paying attention, getting customer feedback, and doing what the customer actually needs.
Join us for an inspiring episode featuring Lamisi Akuka, international singer-songwriter from Zebula, Ghana.
Because no one person make music.
We also hear her passion for empowering girls through her foundation.
I'm so passionate about seeing the Northern girl child having her own voice, speaking for herself, working hard, to be who or what she wants to be, and to marry at the stage where she feels like she can marry. People can be so discouraging to the extent, say, Obi kwa culture me that say me wasting me sika and I'm a time now. You know me, and there's no future for that. These are some of the things that.
Discover how she blends traditional sounds with modern influences to create unforgettable melodies.
The PL Show is brought to you by Kel Chaco, Kel 360, and Kel Kids Toothpaste.
Kel, happy smile.
As this afternoon just gone by is a new segment of the Good Afternoon Ghana show. This promises to be very exciting because we have a powerful
packed line-up coming for you. Do remember that tomorrow, right at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, Kisel Atofosin, who is the Minister of Finance, will be in Parliament talking to us about the 2026 budget. And so from the beginning of today throughout tomorrow, we'll be asking you the very big question. Has the government performed to standard? Have they performed to your expectation? How did you expect the performance of the government to be regarding oral, regarding the dollar, regarding the fuel, regarding all of the things that matter in the economy? Have they lived up to expectation? And what actually are you looking out for in the 2026 budget? Some contractors are expecting to be paid, and so we're expecting more funds to be in the system right after the budget is read from tomorrow or from the beginning of January. So that will form the crust of what will happen tomorrow. My colleague Desmond will be joining me very soon, and of course, when he does, he will take over the show, but we'll have a bit of a discussion on how it's going to be tomorrow. To begin today's show is an interview with one of the members of Parliament on the minority side, who will be speaking to us about why the minority decided to walk out. Some people have called it a boycott. Some have called it a walkout. And Dr. Tia Kabiru Mahama is currently joining us via Zoom, and so that's how we begin the show today. Let me see if we can have Doc on. So I can see you, Doc. Doc, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining me. Sections of the public quite having taken your walkout to be palatable. That's the side of the minority at the appointments committee, especially regarding who was in the seat at the time of the vetting.
Also, good afternoon to you and to your cherished listeners and viewers. I would understand that any decision that the minority will take, being the representative of the people, would have implication, is bound to have several interpretations. And I want to put on record that the minority did not do that out of malice. The minority walked out of that appointments committee's meeting and the processes leading up to the appointment or to the appointment of the current acting Chief Justice, Justice Bafo Bone, as to become the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. It's done on principle. The minority is of the view that the Constitution, which provides that the President can the President can remove Chief Justice in line with Article 146 of the Constitution, also guarantees, the same Constitution also guarantees the right, fundamental human right, the right to fair hearing, and the right to, to procedural propriety. So to the extent that the minority is of the view, and a considered one at that any decision taken is going to prejudice the case of Mrs. Tokono, we think that it's not proper to participate in such a process. We would have participated if we were clear in our mind that such a process is not going to prejudice her. Let's ask ourselves, in the event the court makes a determination that she was illegally removed, what becomes of her case? She has no remedy because she cannot be put back, and there's no vacancy to fill. There cannot be two chief justices in the country. So to that extent, the minority is of the view that the process had to be stayed, or the process ought to have been stayed, and then until such time, all matters surrounding her dismissal were dealt with before the president can then go ahead to appoint a substantive chief justice to fill in the vacancy.
There are quite a number of concerns that you had raised, including the stay of the process. But how sure are we, and in what time limit? So if the proceedings in court were going to take 5 years, 10 years, or a year, or a month, which we cannot tell, you're asking if that's the view of the minority, that we all still allow the court proceedings to go on, let's have a stay of the motion, until a time, such a time that the decision is made.
This is the one who's supposed to panel the court to even determine this matter. Is the one benefiting from this whole process, right? So if the Chief Justice or the acting Chief Justice is minded to do justice, he ought to have empaneled the panel to look at that particular case expeditiously, because I don't think that the justice system mindful of the fact that it's a serious issue, the court can dispose of all matters within 2 months if they are putting it as a priority. So the excuse or the explanation that the process could take such a long time cannot hold, because the process is controlled, and that considering the fact that the president and then the chief justice and then people of Ghana consider the matter as an urgent issue, they could have disposed of this matter by making continuous hearing for at least 1 month, and they will dispose of the matter. 2, the issue is not even the fact that, this issue is going to delay. The person is just telling you that I have 3 petitions. You've not even come to the determination of the other petition. You are going ahead to remove me, and the one you are now replacing me with is the acting. Mind you, the acting chief justice is as good as the chief justice because he can perform almost every single function of the chief justice. So the administration of justice is not grounded by the mere fact that we don't have the chief justice being appointed or confirmed. So that explanation, I think, would not hold if people are of the view that the fact that there is no substantive chief justice and that until such time that we have a chief justice, it means that we are having a position being vacant. That does not stop the administration of justice. Justice is not a ground or is not brought to a halt just because we don't have a substantive chief justice. I'm sure we could have disposed of the matter. We bring clarity. The slate would have been wiped clean for the president to make a new appointment if it was determined that Tokono was legitimately removed.
Can one say, or can I put it to you, that the minority had a prejudicial, a predetermined mindset against the acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni?
Well, it is not going to be fair. There's no prejudice against Mr. Bafuboni. All what the minority have against him are as a matter of principle. They are as a matter of principle because the minority are of the considered view. And we affirm same solidly because the processes leading to the removal of the Chief Justice, with the greatest of respect, every well-meaning Ghanaian will know that it is based on a hatchet program, a campaign promise that was made by the National Democratic Congress, and that campaign promise was delivered without finance. It was delivered without any, if you like, any modicum of conscience. And I think that is the only problem the New Patriotic Party or the minority members of parliament have. To the extent that you promise your supporters that you are going to remove the Chief Justice, and within the twinkle of an eye, the very first thing you do upon coming to power is to trigger the processes and to ensure that such a person is removed without even giving the person her rights under the natural, natural right to fair hearing. They are basic natural rights of any person in even any trial, be it civil or criminal. Now, the person is being denied. It basically tells the person that, look, I have a program of action. My program is to remove the Chief Justice and put in someone that I think that would further or would promote my so-called resetting agenda. And that's the only prejudice we have.
But Doc, be that as that may be, to an extent that it follows the requisite legal procedure that the government, whether you would want to describe it as the NDC government or whatever, has followed the requisite legal procedure. You have little to do.
Our problem is with the propriety of the procedure.
But it is legal. Yes, the propriety of it, however, it is still legal. And so your point...
If the procedure as outlined is the processes contained in law, but as in following those processes, there are also procedural, dictates you have to go by. If you fail in those procedural dictates, then it is not legal. But that is the point.
From the proceedings so far,
146 of the Constitution says that you have to determine free farmers cases by the Council of State. You have to set a committee.
Yes.
The committee will come to the nation. Doesn't make it automatical that the person will have to be removed. It is the substance of the issues that are brought before you that will lead to the determination of whether or not the person ought to be removed from the position. Otherwise, if it's a mechanical process, then every Chief Justice is vulnerable. Every Chief Justice will be vulnerable of the process because you always get someone to write a petition. You will always have a president referring to the Council of State. You always having the Council of State taking a decision, and you always have the President acting on that. You understand?
Yes.
That does not provide the independence of the judiciary as contained in Article 127 of the Constitution. Because you want to protect the judiciary from the vultures, the excessive power of the executive. Now, if you say
but
that
so far as even the process itself is legal, that's where my contention is. So far as it is legal, as for disagreeing, any party would be allowed to disagree, even if it is a ruling by the Supreme Court. There is an allowance for disagreement, but the disagreement does not allow you to truncate, or you may not even be able to truncate, but create a form of a stampede for the subsequent processes leading to the appointment of a substantive Chief Justice effective.
When you say the processes are legal, or the process was legal, but I don't know whether you mean the fact that a committee ought to be set and the committee was set. You see, the contention is not the power of the president to come under Article 146. That's not the contention. The president
what's the contention?
So close with the power under the Constitution to come for the removal of or for any citizen to trigger the removal of the Chief Justice coming through Article 146 of the Constitution. That's not the contention. Our contention is more of the substance of the issue. That is one. Even in administering Article 146 to get the Chief Justice removed, whether or not they were breach of natural justice, then those are legal issues. They are not mere fleeting, or they are not mere issues, or transient issues in anyone's reason. They are also legal issues. They are also constitutional issues. And you cannot, in the fulfillment of a constitutional mandate, breach the Constitution. And if you do that, in the fulfillment of the constitutional mandate breaches the Constitution, then that act is become illegal. So that is the whole discussion. We are not challenging the power of the president, but we are saying that the president's power cannot be exercised whimsically and capriciously.
That's fair enough. But do you think that well, so your fight will be against the executive, the president. But do you think that, in all fairness, Justice Paul Bafuboni, who may not have necessarily done anything requiring the wrath of the minority, you were fair to him?
I think that Bafuboni, one, is a conflicted person. And with the greatest of respect, you ought to have seen the conflict in what the executive is putting him through. It is clear that the matter in issue, some of the matters in issue are directly about him, right? And if you have the acting Chief Justice, you are supposed to panel. The court, you are supposed to empanel a panel to look at a matter, and you are not doing that. And the process of not doing that is acting to your favor. You cannot say you are not conflicted. As a matter of fact, we can infer deliberate, intentional intention or intent on the part of Chief Justice not to even let the process work so that he can benefit. So if the minority is taken on behalf of that basis,
let me be very clear. I don't want to be quoting you wrongly. First of all, you believe that the acting Chief Justice, before he gets approval from Parliament to become effective Chief Justice, we still can call him acting anyway. You believe that he's very conflicted. And you are saying to me that his part, or he's actually scheming against the former. Is that what you are trying to say?
Basically,
is he scheming? Are you saying that?
If without evidence to support that he's scheming directly, one can say we can infer an intention to scheme. And that inference is based on the fact that you are supposed to take processes that will vindicate someone's right. Without the vindication of that person's rights, you stand to benefit from the injustice that will be occasioned to the person. And if you stand to benefit from any injustice that will occasion to a person, and you have the mandate or you have the power to ensure that justice is done to the person and you are not doing it, we can infer an intention that you are scheming.
And so I can quote you, Dr. Tia Kabiru Mahama, Member of Parliament for the Wale Wale constituency, that based on the happenings and events, occurrences so far, there can be an inference that the acting Chief Justice was part or was the brain behind the ousting of the former maybe the removal. Let me put it.
Definitely, you can quote me that on the basis of my submission and the basis of the facts that I've given you, one can make an inference that the acting Chief Justice is part of the grand scheme that got the Chief Justice removed.
But this is your view. This has nothing to do with Metro TV, Honorable Member of Parliament.
Those views are based on the facts that we've analyzed them. I'm not saying they are Metro TV's view. I'm telling you that those views can be held by any reasonable Ghanaian, any reasonable person, or in the bars, on the short road can come to such a conclusion that if I am given the power to set up a commission or to panel a court that will look into the determination of someone's right, the outcome of which would have outcome on the position I'm going to impan, I'm going to fill in, and I'm not doing it, what inference can the person then make?
My colleague Desmond has just joined me here on air. I'll give him the opportunity to ask you a question, but there is an information I've picked up. Some on social media, some from the people who text into our shows, saying that the term of the acting Chief Justice, if he's confirmed and becomes the effective Chief Justice, will be by the very popular term that we all know, coterminous with the term of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. That's even if he goes beyond his retirement age. Do you stand by that? Do you agree to that? Do you want to say that too?
I think that if we allow what is happening to Tokuno to stand, we are creating a very bad precedent. And that the MPP will be morally grounded, the MPP will be legally grounded, the MPP would on all fours be fortified to take an action for the removal of any Chief Justice that the MPP government council meet in the event the MPP coming back to power. Because a precedent has been set, all the legal argument and whatever we need has been laid bare, and the MPP will only need to rely on precedents. And that is why I agree with anyone who says that, look, if this is to stand, Mr. Bafo Boni's tenure is as good as John Mahama's tenure.
Mr. Bafo Boni's tenure is as good as John Mahama's tenure. But, Honorable, I want to ask this. I don't know how you will take it. Is that statesmanship for all of us building the dear country Ghana, or that's partisanship for the New Patriotic Party?
Well, if it is the view of the Ghanaian people that what is happening to Tokuno is statesmanship, then it's definitely statesmanship. But if it is their view that what is happening to Tokuno is not statesmanship, then we can all call and bring the conscience of the president that we are building a state. In fact, we are not yet to a state, we are not yet building a nation, but at least we are building a state. And that they ought to have relied on the fact that, irrespective of their misgiving about Tokuno, we have to protect the institution of the states. But if they disregard that, they think that it doesn't matter, they think that once you are given executive power, you can do as you like and as you wish. There's nothing stopping the New Patriotic Party government from doing as it believes, because definitely the New Patriotic Party is not coming to power on the back of the barrel of the gun. We are coming to power, we will be coming to power because the people of Ghana will be electing us. And when they elect us, it also means that they believe in whatever intention that we are doing, including the action we are taking, because they are grounding their action on the fact that the people of Ghana have given them the mandate to do whatever they are doing, including the removal of the Chief Justice.
So it will be tit for tat?
It will be exactly the manifestation of the mandate the people of Ghana will be giving to us.
Honorable, hold on. My colleague is here, Desmond. Desmond is hosting Good Afternoon Ghana today, and he's joined us on air, and I think he has some questions for you. Desmond.
Very interesting conversation. Dr. Baba, I want to ask that this stance that the minority has taken, and of course the things that you've said to us this afternoon, it means that whatever this Chief Justice will do, the minority in the House would not support. Is that how we should look at this?
Definitely, we cannot recognize until such time that Mrs. Tokuno's rights have been fully and exhaustively litigated, and a final determination is brought to bear. Until such time, we will consider her action as actions of the acting Chief Justice. Or consider his action, Bafo Boni's action as the actions of the acting Chief Justice.
Well, many are saying that the stance also from the minority, as Akwesi was saying, makes it more politicized. Is the NPP or the minority in Parliament supporting the removal? I mean, Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, is she a member of the party or what? Because like there's a full weight behind her, and that when it comes to Justice Bafo Boni, you're not supporting him because he's been appointed or put in there by the NDC.
Look, let me make this blunt. I have my issues with, Gertrude Sachi Torkornoo. I have my personal issues with her, and that if I have to rely on my personal issues, I would be supporting any action against her. But I'm not relying on my personal issues. I feel like there's a point in time that the NDC ought to also put aside their personal issues and look at the institution of the judiciary. And if they are doing anything and they believe strongly that that is the right thing, and the good people of Ghana sit down idly and look on while they do that in support of what they are doing, we will believe that that is the true position of the mind of the good people of Ghana. And what we are doing same in the future, we will fortify in the same belief that what we are doing is what the good people of Ghana want.
Are we not putting ourselves up for, quote, ridicule? I mean, that the highest person in the judicial system of this country, and there's so much back and forth going on with regards to who should be, accepted or not.
You see, that is why the framers of the Constitution have never been wrong. In fact, they would have not thought about certain issues thoroughly, but the intention, the spirit in the work they did by the market women in the Consultative Assembly was clear that we needed to have a judiciary that is inviolable. We needed to have a judiciary that is independent, both financially and administratively. We needed to have judiciary that would give justice, irrespective of the background, that the poor man in Janga and the poor woman in Passenger would be able to go to the court and have their right being redressed without recourse to some powers anywhere. That is the intention. But you see, when that particular intention has been ripped, when that particular good spirit has been, outcasted by the new National Democratic Congress, and the good people of Ghana seems to be condoning and supporting that, we want to believe that it is not putting the government to ridicule. It is the belief that the Ghana people think that the judiciary ought to be reset, and once they are reset, and we are also coming to reset them, no one will have qualms about that. But you see, we think that, and if you read recently the Telegraph of the UK, there are issues with the current government and what it means for the international community. We are not doing enough as journalists, we are not doing enough as citizens, we are not doing enough as Ghanaians to call in this government to say that, look, what you are doing regarding the removal of the Chief Justice is repugnant, what you are doing is not proper, and what you are doing is actually casting it casts a slur on the conscience of the good people, on the conscience of the country Ghana. And that is what we are not doing. And to the extent that we are not doing that, every person would think that, okay, then we think it is right. And anyone coming to do same should not be blamed, and ought not to be blamed.
Yes. The point, maybe final point I would want to raise is the fact that the Chief Justice, as you are against today, will be empaneling. And you cited the example of empaneling a court to oversee a case that he is interested in. Obviously, when he's approved, which is most likely he's going to be, he'll be empaneling courts to see cases, some possibly, of which maybe even members of the New Patriotic Party may be part of. It presupposes that even before judgment comes out, you will have maybe in the court of public opinion drawn your own conclusion that because you didn't support him or because you think he's part of a grand scheme, to have all of these done, he is biased, or the court is biased in its rulings and judgments. Will that be the case?
That is why the burden is now on the Chief Justice and any out of those particular judges he'll be empaneling to then prove the New Patriotic wrong, or to prove the good people of Ghana wrong. That irrespective of the misgivings that we have about them, that in the discharge of their judicial function, and as jurists for that matter, they are doing it without fear or favor, and the hammer falls either way, and that they don't care and they don't look onto faces when they are dispensing justice. That's the burden for them to carry, and they need to prove to us that yes, they are doing their work devoid of bias. If they are able to prove to that NNPP man is losing a case and NNPP man is winning the case and they square out, why not? But if we have the cases of members of the New Patriotic Party on the face of the law, despite the clear, unambiguous provisions of the text and the spirit of the law, you find a judge trying to find jurisprudence elsewhere. We need not to support any bad decision. And man, you have always argued that there's a lot of precedent, there's a lot of bad literature out there to support any action that the judge will take. A judge mandated to do injustice will always find a literature to support his injustice. That is right. That is known to all of us. But they have to look beyond that and see whether or not to the common man what they are doing makes sense. And because the law ought to make sense to the common man as well.
Dr. Mahama, yesterday the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Bagbin, apologized to the judiciary. What did you make of that?
Well, I don't know what the apology was for. Maybe he thought that the conduct of members at the appointments committee were not the befitting of honorable members of parliament. I thought they were mere disagreement. People had their disagreement expressed. There was no violence in the people thought that they disagree and they disagreed dispassionately. The speaker took issue with the use of certain words, which I probably to the extent that those words were unparliamentary and they ought not to be used before parliament or in parliament. I would agree with the speaker. Otherwise, I did not see any offense we've committed that the speaker would be apologizing to the judiciary, except to say that to the extent that some words might have been used during the committee which are considered unparliamentary, some motives were impugned which are not against the standard orders of parliament, I would have no issues with that particular apology conveyed. But generally, the members of parliament did not do anything. Because the committee of parliament, it wasn't every member of the parliament who is even a member of the committee. So to that extent, I think that on one breath, he could be right because of the parliamentary nature, parliamentary language, and how to use those parliamentary languages, or he could be wrong because whatever they were doing is in the discharge of their duty, and to the extent that you are apologizing, it can also kill initiative for people to be more vigilant, people to be much more detailed, for people to be much more, if you like, critical of the judiciary in the discharge of parliamentary duty.
Okay, Dr. Tia Abdul Kabir.
So, in fact, forgive me.
Forgive
me. We're going to allow you to go, but because you have a background in economics and you have lectured and done all of these, let me put you on the spot. We didn't discuss that we're going to mention this to you. Tomorrow, Ato Forson will be in Parliament to talk about the budget. One question for you. What's your expectation?
Well, so the budget, of course, the budget and the work of the budget and the ministry responsible for finance falls within a committee I even serve in Parliament, a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament. And therefore means that we'll be working closely with the Finance Minister in the approval of the budget, especially in the approval of appropriation, which is actually the key. If you read Article 197 thereabout of the Constitution on the financial matters of the country. Now, we expect that for the first time after they have come to power, they have to now face the music because there are no more excuses to give.
Are they not facing the music?
They haven't. We are still having a budget that is being supported by the IMF. The president, the government is have to have its first independent, if you like, IMF free budget. So all the budget that they are receiving, the next budget, is still part of the program. But we want to see the budget signaling a move towards autonomy, a move towards freedom, a move towards self-independence and self-reliance in the management of our economy. That has to be signaled, and that we've not seen yet. Two, the government has to also demonstrate that the excessive heat, the lack of money in the system, the fact that people are not even able to even get money to buy some basic goods and services, irrespective of the fact that indicators have gone relatively to our advantage, is something that the budget will have to address. Two, there are concerns about releases to certain statutory agencies and the amount of money released, which is in clear violation of statutory provisions on the allocation of resources. The budget will have to address how we are going to stop the breach, and then, obvious breach of the laws regarding allocation of resources in the context of the prevailing statute that this House of Parliament has passed. So these are the issues we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at the unemployment and the issue, there's so much promises about job, and whether or not the government is only going to rely on the public sector as the vehicle, which is already choked, and whether or not that particular public sector is it has the absorption capacity in order to pick in more people to serve. That we have to look at. The government will have to see whether or not, road contractors, there are a lot of road contractors who have not been paid. After almost 1 year in power, they have not done anything to ensure that arrears that have been so validated are actually reduced. And we are still keeping on with more arrears with their big push program. What is the government going to do to address this arrear situation? We have to also look at to see whether or not the promises made in the 2025 budget have been achieved. So I think that as a member of the committee and as a member of parliament and someone with relatively some small experience in this field, these are the things that I will be looking out for, and these are the things that I'll be expecting to see. What I don't expect to see is further increase in taxes, because in the first year and the excuses given, the government had increased more than enough taxes for the good people of Ghana to grapple with. Without money in the system, for you to introduce more taxes is basically to suffocate the good people of Ghana.
Well, we are all not expecting any new taxes, but performance so far, do you not think that fiscally, fiscal discipline, the government has done well? How would you score them if you had the opportunity to score the government fiscal discipline and maybe the macro indicators for over 100? How would you score them?
I want to know whether or not to say the government has done well or the IMF has done well. It's difficult to then, disentangle the government from the IMF to the extent that there is a big brother in the house holding the cane, and the big brother is asking you where to put the money and where not to put the money. But it is your government. It's your government that went for the IMF. Rightly so. And exactly. We went for the program. Rightly so. But we went for the program. We went for the program. That's essentially, you are helping me build the point. That's essentially when you want to say praises, then probably first you have to say whether or not the IMF program. Then if you come to the government, which government will you want to give the credit to? Is it the government that took the decision to say that, okay, we need discipline, we need to protect our macroeconomic indicators, and that we need to subscribe to a program? Is it the government that took the fall for the fact that part of the decision was to bring our debt to a more sustainable level by going for the debt exchange program and also bringing our debt much more to a much sustainable level? Is it the government that started the consolidation process, or the government that is continuing with this? If you put all this into the picture, first, it's the IMF program. Second is the government. And when we're talking of government, then you have to make reference to the Nana Akufo-Addo government, because that started this particular initiative. But for that particular decision, this government would have been wanted.
So let me tell you why I'm not helping you to build your point, as you say. And I'm not helping you to build your point because I make reference to your government going in for the IMF program, which by extension you are claiming the results, current results we are having in the economy, the fiscal discipline, and the monetary policies for. Fair enough. There is the domestic exchange program as well, which has also streamlined lots of activities also. Fair enough. However, the indicators in 2024 didn't support this argument that you are making. We had the dollar skyrocketing. We had fuel also high up. We had some of the things that the government is claiming today that they have been able to manage at certain levels which were not supporting even micro issues for us, the things that we needed to see in our pockets. Today, we hear government impressing upon transport operators to reduce their transport fares. We hear government impressing upon Abossey-Okan people to reduce the cost of spare parts. Why? Because when you go on to the ICOMS platform at the port, there is stability in the exchange rate, and so they can they can really work with that. When we talk about inflation, currently inflation has hit single digit. But even though we were still under the program in 2024, we didn't have these. So I'm not helping you to build your point.
Well, so you are, because unless, of course, you understand this particular program as a mechanical and a static process. If you understand it as a flow and that indicators are built over time, that's why the program is within a particular time period, 3 years. You would help me build the point.
Okay.
The program was not an instantaneous program that when you plug in, you get results instantly. The program was envisioned that you need to move, and you have to move quickly within 3 years. So the fact that movement started, it's not the case that the movement didn't start before the NPP left government. It would be wrong to suggest that. For instance, what was the height of the problem with inflation? Inflation got as much as 54%, right?
Today, inflation is 8%.
Yes, before the NPP government left office, what was the inflation rate? So there was a movement. You get it? Exchange rate got worse to a point that it was 15, right? But before the NPP left government, what was the exchange rate? So we can take every indicator by indicator to suggest that, look, we admit that they were not of the best as they are now today, and that admission has to be made that the indicators, be inflation, exchange rate, were not as better as they are today.
Fair enough.
Of today, Wednesday, the 12th of November. But they had started showing signs of recovery in line with the IMF program even before we left office. And that's the point I'm making, that the program, in its sense, even inflation, our target for inflation was 8% plus or minus 2%. That was the program target. So it means within that, it means that the government is working in line with the program.
So
that's essentially the point I'm making. That, I mean, we ought not to say that the government is not doing anything. They are doing. The fact that they are even being able to stay within the IMF program, they could have decided to say that our priority is not the IMF program. So we don't want to go by it. We are going out of it and manage it the way we want. So the fact that they were disciplined and live within the IMF and listen to the advice of the big brother and the carrot and cane approach of the big brother is something that we need to comment. But of course, to be fair, we need to trace where it started from.
Doc, let me leave it here, but let's see. Bright Jaka, the producer, will be talking to you. Let's see if we can have you in the studio before the finance minister will be in Parliament tomorrow at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. we are expecting him to be in Parliament and to read to all of us the budget. But do you have hints of it anyway? You are on the committee. Have you seen bits and pieces or parts of it?
So far, I do know that the government wants to look at some amendments to the VAT law, which they are trying to bring. We've been waiting for them to bring this in. They are running away and they are not bringing it. I don't know whether they are not yet ready. A budget that is going to be presented tomorrow ought to have been brought before us to even start working on the provisions of that.
But you and Ufuriata were doing the same.
I'm saying that if you promise, one thing saying that I'm going to bring it today and failing to bring it, and one thing saying that I'm going to bring it tomorrow when it's easier tomorrow. If you say you're going to bring it today, it suggests that you are ready with it. Then to postpone it, I have reasons to complain or I have reason to, grumble about. So that is basically what I'm saying.
And I'm saying that even at the preliminary comment sections of the CJ vetting that we have been talking about, all of you have established the course of practice. And so I'm saying that the practice is no different from now. And so do you have cause to complain?
The practice is even different. Let me tell you how even the practices are different.
How is it different?
Unless the previous government, every fiscal policy that we wanted to bring on board were aligned to the budget. But this government doesn't want the good people reading in the budget some of the measures. They try to bring them independent of the budget. For instance, the D-levy they brought. The D-levy was not in their budget. But they found a way of bringing it. You get it? And that is something I've even had problem with that approach, that you are not able to let the good people of Ghana predictability in the manner in which you manage the economy. You want and will leave some fiscal measure after approving the budget, you bring it. Even though we can do all this at any time the government feels, but you need to align so that everyone will know that these are the broad range or if the complete list of fiscal policies you are bringing, and then we'll operate. But you don't bring it in the budget. You only signal that I'm going to bring this thing, and then we don't even know the nature. 1 month after they approve a budget, you bring a levy that we should approve. Another month, you bring another. That is hiding things from the budget, so that people will not be able to track clearly what the budget presented, whether the goods and the bad, the complete goods and bads of the budget.
Doc, let me thank you, but let me also announce that, in fact, for this conversation, we had wanted the Member of Parliament for Daboya Mankarigu, Mahama Shaibu, to join us, but he hasn't been able to pick up our calls. But we do hope that maybe in the subsequent bulletins or tomorrow, we'll get him. But thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Dr. Tia Mahama Abdul Kabiru is a Member of Parliament for the Waliwali constituency, and he's been talking to us first of all about the budget, what he thinks of the budget which is coming up tomorrow. We began the discussion also with the minority side of everything that happened and the walkout from the Appointments Committee meeting on the vetting of the Chief Justice, the acting Chief Justice, to become the Chief Justice. That's one. I'm told there are lots happening at the Elwak Stadium this morning.
Yes, this morning right into this. The recruitment exercise for the Ghana Armed Forces began this morning, and we know that as at 2 a.m., a lot of recruits who are hoping to get in there got to the place, but there was a breach of security, and that has led to the official figures from the Ghana Armed Forces. We understand 6 people have been confirmed dead and several others injured. But as the day goes on, we understand
that's a statement from the Ghana Armed Forces. But we are taking reports that there are about 12 of them
about
now.
12,
but that's unconfirmed reports saying about 12 of them. And I'm told also that the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has stopped everything that he's doing and has gone to the 37 military hospital to see. But before you go on, forgive me, did the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces not anticipate this?
That would be one question that will come in. I mean, of course, over the years, we have seen a lot of people come out in their numbers, hoping to get recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces. But today's own, I don't know, it's a different...
Maybe on Newsnight tonight, you have to tell us, what was the issue? Did they not text the people? If they texted them, because when you are shortlisted, you will be given an information to come for the body selection and all of that. So if you are given the information,
the number of people.
We are anticipating 50,000 people, 10,000 people. So we make an accommodation of this number for them. Did that happen? So we would want to see that, but let me allow you to go on.
Let me just read the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces. Says that stampede during Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise at Elwak Sports Stadium. The Ghana Armed Forces deeply regrets to inform the general public of a tragic stampede prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise today, Wednesday, 12th November 2025, at the Elwak Sports Stadium. Preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocols and rushed into the gates ahead of the scheduled screening at about 6:20 hours. So that will be 6:20 a.m. The unfortunate incident led to the death of 6 potential recruits and many others injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 military hospital. The Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that medical teams are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made to notify the families of the deceased persons. The Ghana Armed Forces extends its deepest condolences to the families of the deceased persons and wish a swift recovery to those injured. Further updates will be communicated, signed by Colonel Evelyn Intiama for the Acting Director General Public Affairs. So that's the statements coming in from the Ghana.
It's still a very difficult situation for me to appreciate.
Yes.
Very, very difficult.
And clearly, I understand the points that you are putting across. That did we not know the numbers that were going to come today for this particular exercise? What were the arrangements? Per their statement, they are saying that there was a breach of security protocols.
First of all, if I listen to you well, first of all, they say there was a surge in the numbers.
Yes.
A surge by who? From who? How did the surge happen? So you're expecting 10,000 people, you end up having 20,000 people. These 20,000 people apply and got called, or they apply and didn't get called, or everybody that applied was required to come. Did you anticipate that you called 10,000? Usually people come who are not called, and so 10,000 more were going to come. How did it happen?
That's very legitimate. Or the people just hear that, oh, there's a recruitment exercise ongoing at the Elwak Sports Stadium. So everybody is rushing there, and they say that they rush through the gates and breach security protocols. So.
But first of all, I hope Bright, Sandra, and the entire team, you are taking care of our reporter who is there.
Right.
I'm told Vanessa is there.
Edotumbo-Boateng
I mean, in all of the reportage, we need protection too. If the armed forces or the police and whoever is providing security hasn't been able to protect these young men who are looking for jobs, and it's sad because if you read all the employment data we have in the country, we agree and we say that unemployment is a national security threat, because currently the data is around 14.1, between 14.1 to 14.9% of the people who do not have jobs in the country. So when you take at least 10 people or 100 people, there are 14 of them who don't have jobs at all. No job, not a job of their own, whether entrepreneur, whether a startup, whether working with someone or however or whoever it is. They haven't tasted a working environment or a salary before. And all of these people, including those who are working and also actively searching for jobs, will come together because they need job security. One of the places that we can get very secured is get into the security forces, the fire service, the prisons, the immigration, the army, so customs. So you see a number of people coming up to you asking whether you can get them placements in these places. So it's very obvious, and the anticipation should be high on the side of the recruiters, that's the Ghana Armed Forces and the police or whoever it is, that the numbers will surge, even if they are not called. 2 a.m., you mentioned.
Yes.
2 a.m.,
as at 2 a.m.,
people have started lining up.
People lining up at the entrance of the stadium. I mean, that actually has caused some bit of traffic on that particular stretch because a lot of people have come out. And this is very disheartening for, as you mentioned, looking at the number in terms of percentage of persons in this country or the youth in this country who are unemployed. They see this as an opportunity to get employed. They tell their families that they are going out there to be part of a recruitment exercise and hopefully they'll be picked. And then they go and they are now dead because of a stampede that occurred. And as we mentioned earlier, the official figure says 6 of them, but unofficially we understand that about 12 persons have passed on.
Which is very, very sad.
This is very, 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 very sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. And as you mentioned...
When you go into different countries, in the UK, in the US, people, they are actually chasing people to come into the forces.
We have a lot of Ghanaians. I know a lot of people who have moved out of Ghana and have been gone into the US Army, the UK Army, and they are even what's the word? They are given. I'm trying to find the word.
They are incentivized. They are motivated. They are given motivation to join.
Things that, if you come and join the army, we'll take you through school, we'll do this, we'll do this. They are begging people to join the army in those countries. But unfortunately, a lot of people are seeing, and truly though, as we mentioned, there's some sort of security getting into these places. And so it makes people feel like, let me get here and secure my future, because I know that when I get into the security forces, any of them, my future is secured. There's going to be a monthly, all of these things that are coming. So people just want to get in there and find something to do for themselves. It is very disheartening that this has happened, and I'm happy that the president has gone to the 37 military.
I mean, it shows a level of. I'm happy about the level of seriousness is attached to it. But before I leave you to continue with the show, I'm told Emmanuel Kutin is online, and let me engage him briefly before you take over and continue with him. Emmanuel Kutin is a security analyst. Emmanuel, thank you very much for joining us. For me, it's an unpalatable situation, talking about the fact that national security threats, unemployment is a national security threat. People are going to find jobs, and they have to die for it.
Very unfortunate. but our security agencies or services are not the places to go and find jobs. Our security agencies are places you should go with some level of interest to serve your country. If you look at other jurisdictions, especially if you talk about best practices, they incentivize citizens to even join the army. I can speak for a fact for the US. You see, when you are even entering college, they give you the opportunity if you want to. They screen and take you and even pay your fees because you are coming out to serve your country. But in our part of the world, it has become a bread and butter issue.
Yes.
I can tell you that joining our security agencies now is no longer about interest. It's about economic issues. And that is what, as a country, we have come to. If you look at our population base, I think it is about time as a country we have a serious conversation about how we can create opportunities for our youth. I know government is overburdened. Government cannot employ all of us. Sorry, but government can set the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and absorb this teeming youth. We can look at entrepreneurial development. We can look at technical skills where we can equip our youth to come out with practical skills where they can establish businesses on their own or opportunities on their own to contribute to our overall national economy. But I think this should be a stark warning. I used to see the military as the beacon of discipline, but I've seen that over the period, I don't know whether it is as a result of the mode of recruitment, it looks as if indiscipline is deep within the Ghana Armed Forces. Because why do I say this? This body screening exercise came at the back of the electronic screening they did. So apparently they know the number of people they were expecting today for the body screening. If the Elwak Stadium is not so spacious for this number, you know we have the Air Force, the Navy, and the main army that makes up the entire the Ghana Armed Forces architecture. They should have made it in a way that the Navy comes today, at another time the Air Force comes, and at another time the Army will come, so that we wouldn't be saddled with this unfortunate incident. It's very sad, and I want to really commend the President for showing leadership, trying to be there. And then I think that we need to learn a lot. And we have to look at our mode of recruitment. That mode of recruitment by itself is a national security threat to our country. Because you see these people coming in, it's not about interest, it's about economics. Some of them have finished school long time ago. You see them going to swear affidavit and reducing their ages just to get in there as a means of survival, but not as a service. So we ask ourselves, in our various secondary schools, what happens to our cadet corps? So these are the avenues we should be recruiting. They at that level have shown genuine interest in serving their country. It should not be the beck and call where we do general recruitment and open it up, and politicians take advantage of that, and the rest is history, as you know. So we, as a country, we cannot allow lives to be lost this way. We talk about it, and that is not the end of it, and that is the end of it. We must begin to be very intentional with our policies. Look at the needless lives that are lost. Very young, someone coming to queue to look for an opportunity to serve his or her country, and will return home as a garbage. Very, very unfortunate. And as a country, I think we are in mourning.
Definitely, like the points you made, those were the same points we were making earlier. But the statement from the Ghana Forces says that there was a surge in numbers, unexpected, surge in the persons who came to the Elwak Sports Stadium. That's what myself and my colleague Yakwesi have been asking, that how can that happen did the army or the armed forces not know the number of persons who are going to come? Was there no data? What exactly, what do you make of that?
That's what I talk about, the level of indiscipline within our army now. The army used to be a place when you even get a presser from the army, you not turn your back or front. But lately, when I read their press release, I asked myself how. Who sanctioned this press release? Because this were electronic recruitment you did after you knew the total number of people that were coming. And from last night, around 12 midnight, if you pass by Ewa, you ask yourself what was going on. Even this morning, I had a program on another TV station. When I passed through the Ewa, it was a human traffic by itself. So some of these things should have been warning signs to the authorities who were conducting this body screening that such a thing could happen, because the numbers were just too overwhelming. And guess what, my brother? The numbers that we saw in Accra alone, the Ghana Armed Forces cannot even absorb 5% of it. And don't forget, there are other regions they are doing the body screening. This is just Accra only. So that should tell you that as a country, we have a serious unemployment problem on our hands. And the earlier we have a national conversation around it, look at our educational infrastructure and the models of our education and the type of graduates we are churning out, the better for us. If you look at the developed countries, they are always ahead of us. They are veering off into technologies and other things. But in our part of the world, we pride ourselves with titles, doctor this, professor this, but nothing actually happens. You understand? You see GTech chasing people using doctorate against their names and those kind of things. Well, how did we come to this level as a country? I think that we have to have a re-evaluation of our mindset, look at our educational curriculum, and look at how we can give skills to our young men and women. Then they are not all looking up to the state for employment. If you go to our universities, as we talk now, it's a very sad and sore story. When these people come up, where are they going to be engaged? So it's about time. These are warning signs that we need to have a conversation about the way forward in some of these things. But it's a very regrettable and a very unfortunate situation. And I'll urge the Ghana Armed Forces that they are the last beacon of discipline in any country. When situations like this happen, they shouldn't rush with presses to deflect blame. At the end of the day, I know the president will put a committee in place or a commission in place to investigate how this thing occurred, because the lives we are talking about is one too many, and we cannot just gloss over it that way at all.
Of the committees being formed to investigate, we are seeing live videos. I don't know what will be forming committees to investigate, but I'm getting a message from Prince Apiaje, who says Akwesi is not only in Accra. Come to Kumasi, a lot of people are injured and they have been sent to the hospital, and they have stopped the process here in Kumasi too. Ima should have role.
So you see, it's not about the videos we are seeing. When we are forming a commission, it's a truth and fact-finding stuff that will help government by way of policy. Then this thing doesn't occur. The truth of the matter is that, like I mentioned, many of these senior youths are here because of bread and butter, not just because they are coming with their heart to serve the country. If there were other opportunities, I tell you, in other jurisdictions,
that's well agreed. That's true.
To get recruited. They even incentivize them to join the service to serve their country. So it's a pull and push factors, and we have to marry the nexus between the two and look at what is good for the country.
But should heads roll?
Well, I will not be quick at this point to call for heads to roll. If there's investigation of any sort, why not? And I think as a country, it's about time we begin to sanction people, punitive one for that matter, to serve as deterrent. You see, you cannot just delete on your job and then go home with your family, and some people are suffering for it. That's why we say positions come with responsibility, and there are consequences when you make decisions and they don't go the way one would have thought, or when you slip on the job. So to call for heads to roll now, that will be the ultimate if there's any form of investigation and there's any level of culpability.
This, Mr. Kutina, I just also want to ask that looking at our army setup or the setup of the armed forces, how many recruits will there be to be part of our current personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces? Do we have enough personnel, or we need more to join in? That is why these recruits and all of these things are very important.
You see, I will not be in a position to tell. It's about need basis, depending on which of the arms are requesting. You understand? And if you look at our army, we are gradually upgrading it every now and then. But what I see, that we must stop political recruitment. Where government come and they want to push their own people, another government come and they want to equalize. That is what I see. And more often than you see political players playing major role to push their people in the name of political protocols. We should not be entertaining any form of protocols in our security recruitment. If we really want to give meaning of the process being fair and getting the right people into the system. But the challenge is, are we prepared to do that? I dare say no, because even chiefs will send their names to the president. Pastors and bishops will do the same thing. The politicians who queen mothers and whatever you do, all do the same thing. The president cannot turn his back at them. If he does do that, they'll get offended, and another thing, they'll start talking in a particular way to make sure you don't return to the seat of government. So we have to solely depoliticize our country. Our country is politically charged. Even look at Parliament. Parliament should be a place of consensus building. So if Parliament is discontentious, that should tell you how it filters into other institutions. And I want to place it on record here that the men and women you see in uniform, they are even more political than me and you. That's the sad reality. And that's the subculture we have cultivated in our security services today.
Okay. Emma, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. But before you go, I don't know if you are by your TV, you would see His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama currently at the GK Dare Trauma Center at the 37 Military Hospital, being led by the CDS, I guess, and a host of other dignitaries.
I see the deputy, that's Broja Jemfi, right?
The deputy minister
for defense. Yeah, standing right next to the president, John Dramani Mahama. I'm sure they're getting some briefing on what exactly happened.
But this is quite commendable for His Excellency the President. I mean, immediately.
He's the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And I was at a program where he was launching the Nkoko Nkitinkiti. I think at the program he was informed and he has to cut shots and attend to.
Oh wow! So the president was.
So
that program is in
Kumasi. That program is in Kumasi.
He has shown leadership, and we have to call a spade a spade. Yes.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
He has. Wow. Okay,
it's
so
just like the situation when the former president of the United States of America, Bush, was in a program. They informed him about the 11th September plane crash. He just comported himself and then walked out. It's just the same scenario that happened, and it shows how he himself attaches to some of these things. How would it be the case that young Ghanaians will wake up at dawn to go and
look
their
for
country and will not return home alive? It's
so sad.
unacceptable anyway.
It's so sad. I'm going to have Austin Gami, but it means that just before you go, it brings up one question. Let me ask you, because you're a security expert, there is the issue of, you have spoken about it in one aspect, whether they went to look for jobs or they went to chase the passion. Currently, it is not a matter of passion or interest again, but for...
Not at all.
Exactly. How do we come together then to solve the problem of unemployment, which you know is a threat to our national security, some of which are happening currently, and some of which are the reasons we are talking about now?
So the seriousness the president has attached to this very incident, we are all commending. I'm just praying that the lives of these young people, young Ghanaians, should not just be wasted like that. There should be a commission in their name that will be the starting point of our mode of recruitment to our security services moving forward. There should be dignity. It doesn't matter the circumstances, you understand? Now, because of the tragedy, we are moving beyond the bread and butter issues and the service. Why should it be the case that somebody must come and sleep at a spot overnight to get the opportunity to even get selected to serve his or her country? These are teething problems as a country we can't really look at. So we need to come together as a people. The politics has been one too many. And I only say that if we don't take care, the way this country is politically charged and divided, that would be the tipping point that would destroy our democracy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll be talking to you again very soon. And this one, it's a sad situation. When I hear of death, and especially in circumstances like this, we have come out from that of the Honorable former Minister of Defense and Minister of
the August
Environment,
helicopter crash,
and all of that.
And all that came yesterday.
I'm told that we have Austin Gami, who is a senior most expert in labor issues, joining us currently on Zoom. Austin, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Well, so whilst we try to get him, I don't know. We're showing.
Yeah, I've seen another post from the Ghana Armed Forces just after they released the earlier statements that reference to the unfortunate incident that occurred at the AWAC Sports Stadium this morning concerning the recruitment exercise. The death toll remains 6. And so,
so it is not 12.
So yes, the Armed Forces says that the death toll remains 6, and this was put on their Facebook page a few minutes ago. So we have Austin Gami on Zoom now. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here on the show. Really sad that we've had to lose these persons to, who were hoping that they could get into the army. Your initial reactions to this?
Well, thank you. Indeed, this one can be described as a reaction. Indeed, I feel very sad as I was watching the scene on the television. My first sympathy goes to the bereaved family and the whole nation for this sad event that has occurred this morning. That's my first reaction. Let me say that Unemployment, we all know, is with us, and we need to have it addressed frontally. And I'm pretty sure you know the government is settling in gradually and putting in some policies and programs to help address this situation. But until that is done, recruitment like this should not, lead us to this kind of sad situation, particularly so when the army, the armed forces, are the most disciplined body, and therefore Elwak Sports Stadium can hold a certain number of people. There should have been some arrangement to place the people in various compartments so as to prevent them from stampeding on each other the way it might have been done. So I think we should, it's a bitter lesson, but it has happened already. Future preventive approach will be very appropriate to ensure that no amount of the number of people, we know the possible number that Elwak can contain. Therefore, an orderliness, particularly being led by the army, is not out of place, so that we do not have this kind of stampede on our hands anymore.
All right.
This appears to be something that can be avoided.
Mr. Gami, we've talked about linking unemployment to this exercise. A lot of persons are seeing the security services as a sure bet for their future, right? And not exactly with the passion, as Mr. Kutin put it earlier. What do you think also?
Well, to be very honest with you, the security services are very noble professions that people, by all means, will be willing to join. But it's about interest. There are people, like you rightly said, just because of unemployment, so many avenues are open for now. They see the security services as the haven where they could go, not because they have desire and also deep-seated interest in to carry it through as a profession, but because they want employment at all costs, which is leading to these extreme numbers that we are having on our hands now. But I'm pretty sure, knowing the kind of programs and policies that have been put in place so far, we should be having some opportunities open in the next few months to come to relieve us from these kind of pressures.
And coming from those in charge, those in authority, how do we make sure that we keep cutting down the numbers of the unemployment rate so that we don't see situations like this anymore?
The numbers will always be there with us. I say so because knowing from previous experience, you have a certain number of people who come from various ladders of educational institutions annually. And so we're going to be having almost about 230,000 or close to 300,000 people out from the various ladders of educational institutions looking and seeking for jobs. And those who are completing their national service also available. So it's about us having proper statistics, which I think the Ministry of Employment and Jobs is trying to put together now. If we can get the statistics rightly, we'll know exactly those who are looking for what and their interest, which regions and districts that the jobs are open. For instance, right now, there is a real presence of construction work going on in the country. So you have operators, you have dump drivers, you have many other equipment handlers that are being sought for in the various sites where they are doing road construction and so forth and so on. And therefore, people should not be tied down to only one-sided type of jobs, like going into the security at all costs. They should move to the various districts and regions where this construction work is also going on. And of course, the coders thing that is going on, a lot of people are being employed. I know, for instance, the MPS have been interviewing and employing people. There are many others who have been employing people. I know very soon a company in one of the districts will be employing a number of people because we work for them as consultants. And so I think that it's very important that people do not get hold onto only one-sided available profession once you go through it. That shouldn't be the case.
Well, Mr. Game, I will thank you very much for joining us this afternoon and share with us your insights on this situation and what the ripple effects
You're most welcome.
are. Austin Game is so we've got a few minutes to wrap it up. And so lots of the videos are on our social media pages at Metro TV Ghana. So do want to get onto our pages, Metro TV Ghana. You'd see all the videos from the Elwak Sports Stadium, showing how, tired. You can see on their faces the fatigue on their faces. Even the exercise itself, I don't know if it's still in session or it has been suspended, but definitely
I think it should be suspended by now.
Yes.
We are told that the one in Kumasi has been put on hold.
Yes.
We don't know whether they have asked them to go back home, but it's been put on hold because there are casualties also there.
Yeah.
There are people who have gotten injured there. And like Desmond said, all of these that you are seeing, you'll get more of it, more details, more updates, even after the program itself, right on social media, Metro TV news page, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all X, social X, and then TikTok, on all social media platforms. And Metro TV online as well. So those of you who like to read, the details of all of these stories are captured and put there. So you can follow the trajectory, how it happened right from the morning up until how it's going. His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, has cut short his activities for the day and is currently at the 37 Military Hospital paying attention to the people.
Yeah, I've seen Felix Kwachu-Fosu also there. And let me just read some of the messages we have on our social media pages concerning this. Frank Waffle says, must we always meet at the Elwak Sports Stadium for this exercise because you have brought a scratch card for the citizens who are interested to buy and present the information online before meeting them? Why do you then let all of them meet at a certain place, knowing the number, depending on the data, that it is very, very huge? Please, we can do better. Charles Zamoa says, somebody has informed their family that he or she is going for enlistment, and the next thing you hear is that your relative has passed because of negligence on the part of our leaders on these kind of recruitments. May the Lord have mercy on, as Martin Kwabla says, on employment. So you can also definitely share with us your thoughts on the situation currently. Joseph Menu says, just yesterday we tried to find closure to the tragic deaths on a military helicopter. Today we have lost 6 lives so far in the attempt to get into the security service. So as a country, can't we do this exercise in every district level to avoid these stampedes? And so that is what Joseph Menu is asking. Tony Gamili says, improper structure, they have to do the number of forms sold out so they can change the venue. So those are some of the comments that have come and I'll post on social media. So do want to follow us on the Metro TV Ghana on all the platforms. Also www.metrotvonline.com and get all the stories on there also. So I could see tomorrow is a big day. We'll be here. We'll bring to you the live coverage from
yes, exactly.
The floor of the house.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even though it had been mentioned, it almost escaped me. But you want to keep watching Metro TV. And again, you want to keep being on Metro TV online, Metro TV socials, everywhere. We are continuing the coverage of the Elwak and all the other events on social media.
Right.
So follow us there, you'll get the details there. I'm sure when the entertainment team comes in.
Yes, we'll definitely try and engage our reports on the ground. Vanessa Dotum-Boatin and Patience Ando, they're on the ground, and we're just hoping they are safe.
And then tomorrow, barring any unforeseen circumstance, we are bringing you a live coverage. In fact, a very extensive one on the presentation of the budget by the Minister of Finance, KCL Atoforsen, at 2 p.m. We will begin at 12. So make sure you are tuning in right from the morning. Follow us on the morning show, follow us on sports, and then follow us from Good Afternoon Ghana through the budget presentation to the news in the night. You'll enjoy exciting programs on Metro TV. My name is Kwesi Efri, of course.
And my name is Desmond Okrekudan. So News Night is coming up at 7 p.m.
Manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about Appointed Time Printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question: how do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejikum Donkor and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025, from the farm to the port, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame. Wait.